The Z Fold 5 is an amazing device that wasn't received as well as it should have because of how similar it is to the Z Fold 4. In this review, I'm going to look at the Z Fold 5 for what it is and show you why I think it's a really near perfect smartphone in my opinion. But to start the video, I'm going to start with the negatives and what I don't like or what I think should be improved with the next model next year. So firstly, we have the camera. I think these are really good cameras and they're more than enough for me, but if they're going to improve anything, then why not give us better camera hardware? A bigger sensor would be greatly welcomed on this device, especially because of how versatile it is and all the different ways that you can use the cameras. And then next is the battery. The battery life is also really good for a foldable phone, but it can definitely be better. I think it's about time that we get a bigger battery, and to be honest, I would personally sacrifice slimness for a bigger battery. However, look at the newest foldable phone by Honor. It has a pretty big battery, but it's still super slim. Samsung is definitely possible. It's about to be 6 generations of foldable phones, and I think it's time that Samsung wakes up the major developers and pushes them to optimize their apps for these phones. I'm not sure how possible this is, but I don't know, throw COD Mobile a bag, throw LumaFusion a bag, push them to support these big screens better. I think the apps that I just mentioned and others are decent on these phones, but they can be a lot better and more optimized for a foldable phone. And Samsung has done a lot on their end to make any app work well, but we need more. If we're spending so much money, we need better optimization. So the next thing is cases. It's been way too long to still be struggling to find decent cases for these phones at decent prices as well. Samsung's own cases have gotten better over the last 5 years, but they haven't really come down in price, even with the discounts. The cases are not worth the prices despite getting better. So please support these special phones better, Samsung. Samsung, please, I need you to start treating people who spend literal thousands of dollars on your devices better. Why should customers be blamed for your own hardware and device failing on them within its first year of life? Especially here in Canada, the customer service is so bad. And beyond just getting my phone fixed, I've had multiple instances where I was waiting in a store for an employee to approach me and ask what I needed, and all the employees would just look me in the eyes and not help me. And multiple times, after a while, they would even go and help customers that walked in the store after me. And to be honest, I hate to think about racism, but in these moments, I couldn't help but wonder if it's because I'm black. Because I'm not even exaggerating, like they sprinted like it was a track meet to go and serve the Asian or the white customers that came in the store. So all I'm saying is Samsung, do better on all levels of customer service in Canada and everywhere else. Maybe my experience is unique, but from what I see online, many people have issues with customer service regarding Samsung. Okay, so now with all the negatives out the window, it's time to get into why I think this phone is near perfect. Wireless charging, water resistance, different home screen layouts for each screen, and so much more. I can go on and on about all the things this phone has to offer, but let me just share my personal uses and experiences to narrow down on what stands out to me. The outside screen is narrow, but for me, it's perfect for one-hand usage. The narrowness makes it easy to grasp and maneuver all with one hand and one thumb. We all use our phones with one hand for a decent amount of time in the phone's lifetime, so for me, I really value how easy one-hand usage can be. I also understand and agree that the outside screen isn't the best for different things that you would normally do on a smartphone, but for me, it's perfect for casual reading, casual scrolling on Reddit, watching YouTube videos and reading the comments, and even some light gaming. The compact design and holdability serve me really well when I'm out the house and traveling and going from place to place. I can comfortably text and read messages or emails on the screen with no issues. The outside screen is great even if it's not for everyone. And then the Fold 5 unfolds into a mini tablet-like screen with great software. I basically use my Z Fold 5 for 90% of my computing needs, so let me break down each need for you. The first thing is games. The games I mainly play on mobile devices are Pokemon Unite, Wild Rift, Teamfight Tactics, MapleStory Mobile, Minecraft, Terraria, Arena of Valor, and occasionally I'll play Roblox with my little sister. The Fold 5 performs basically perfect in all these games. However, the aspect ratio of the big screen makes certain games like Pokemon Unite unplayable. I have to figure out different workarounds to play the games comfortably. One workaround that I found for basically any game that you would play on a smartphone is just playing those games in split screen. So the idea is you have something at the top half of the screen and then you have the game at the bottom half of the screen. And usually when it's like this, it gives the game a more normal aspect ratio to like how a traditional smartphone would be. And then you have like little to no issues playing the game. I actually enjoy playing in split screen anyways because I like to watch, videos at the top or scroll on Reddit in between game sessions. But I wish the games like Pokemon Unite would just work better in full screen. You can also adjust the aspect ratio for each game and app on this phone, but there's only like 3 options, and in my experience, those options they don't really fix the problems with the game. So I would rather just do split screen anyways. overall the performance is decent enough for the games that I play. I just wish that the optimization for apps would be better. So next is content consumption. I personally like using the outer display to watch YouTube videos when I'm not too invested in my phone. So I'll often watch YouTube videos one-handed on the cover screen as I'm doing other stuff, or I'll put it down in temp mode where I can quickly pick it up when I'm ready to go and move on with my day. And then there's flex mode. I'll watch YouTube videos like this if I'm eating breakfast while reading the comments on the bottom half of the screen. And then when I'm fully ready to use my phone, I'll open it up into full screen and consume content like that. The size of watching full screen video on this inner display is bigger than a normal smartphone, but it's not a huge advantage over like the biggest phones on the market. All in all, I enjoy using this phone for content consumption because of its flexibility. Like I said, temp mode, flex mode, one-hand ability, and then when I'm really ready to dive into my content, full screen mode. The speakers are also really good, so I don't mind playing audio out loud from the speakers itself, but mainly I use earphones on all my devices. And then outside of watching stuff, I occasionally read manga or read the Bible using the inner screen. It's nice to have a big display for reading stuff, and in my opinion, it's just a better experience than using a smaller smartphone. Alright, so next we have multitasking. I multitask daily with split screen and floating windows all the time. I use them for basic things like Googling something I saw on Reddit while I have Reddit still open in the background, or pulling up the calculator and inputting numbers from another app. And then of course I use it for gaming and watching videos/shows at the same time. This is actually one of my favorite use cases for multitasking because it puts entertainment on a max. And then another main thing I like to use multitasking for is working on video scripts or ideas. So I'll have different notes or planning apps open, and then maybe YouTube Studio or Google Chrome open for research purposes while I'm creating these scripts or taking notes. And then the last use case I'll share is reading the Bible while taking notes. So a notes app on one half and then the Bible on the other half of the display, and I can take notes as I read things. And then when I'm at home, I'll often have my phone connected to a monitor on the desk, and I'll use Samsung DeX like I would with a normal PC for different things like writing video ideas, browsing the internet, watching videos, or playing certain games like Minecraft with a controller or the keyboard and mouse depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, that kind of leads us into the next thing. So Samsung DeX, I already mentioned it and I have multiple videos on this feature, but I use Samsung DeX as basically my computer. All your basic functions are here and more. And if I need to access it on the go, then I'll bring my Nextdock 360 and it turns my Fold 5 into a touchscreen laptop at any time I need it. Samsung DeX is great for multitasking, for gaming, and just general computer usage. And then there's the S Pen. So I use the Spen Pro mainly for precise photo editing or casual drawing for fun. I also do some note taking if I want to, write things down, because sometimes writing helps you remember things. I also use it as a remote controller for the camera when I have the phone propped up at a distance or on a tripod, so that way I can start or stop the video or take a picture without having to, go to my phone. On a side note though, Samsung phones have this feature where you can say a keyword and it will take a picture, or you can put your hand up and it will take a picture that way too. But I just find that the S Pen Pros are more reliable and quick solution for, controlling your camera. And then there's content creation. So my phones, in order for me to daily drive a phone at this point in time, I need to be able to create content on it. That could be filming videos, taking photos, even making music, whatever it is. I need to be able to do all these different things on my phone. And the Z Fold 5 can do all those things, especially when it comes to filming videos. A pro video mode to dial in my settings, the front screen as a viewfinder for when I'm behind the camera myself, the ability to connect external microphones and record decent audio straight from the phone itself, the S Pen as a remote control like I said, and on top of all that, the ability to edit the videos that I filmed on the phone itself with a decent sized screen. The Z Fold 5 is just very versatile when it comes to content creation, and I think it's probably one of the best for any content creator out there or anybody who's pursuing artistic endeavors or hobbies. There's just so much potential for creating stuff on this phone. And then like I said earlier, plug it into a monitor and you have a desktop experience where you can reliably video edit, photo edit, or do so many different things on many different kinds of displays. Okay, so now I talked about all the specialized stuff, so I'm gonna get into the normal stuff, the everyday stuff. So obviously when I'm daily driving this device, I use it for texting and phone calls. I feel like it performs well with both of those things and I have no abnormal issues with reception. Occasionally though, I sometimes have to restart the phone because it refuses to connect to my Wi-Fi when I'm at home. I'm not sure what the reason is, but it happens from time to time and it can be very annoying if I'm in the middle of doing something. Battery life is also really good for me. It can range from 4.5 to 7.5 hours of screen on time. On normal days, I can easily get 7 hours of screen on time with 20% of battery left by the time I'm ready for bed. On heavy days, I can definitely kill this phone before sleep time, but 4 to 5 hours of screen on time while doing a decent amount of video editing or filming is pretty good to me. The screen brightness is also great, and I have no issues using this phone outdoors or when there's a lot of light in the environment that I'm in. And yeah, speaking about the screens, these are probably some of the nicest screens on a smartphone or a tablet on the market in my opinion. They're sharp, they're vibrant, they have a lot of detail, and yeah, Samsung just makes some of the best screens in general. That's why they sell their screens to every other smartphone manufacturer out there. Thermal performance is good in regular use, but during long video editing sessions, this phone will definitely heat up and it will throttle a bit. It's not terrible, but it's not the best. Overall, daily usage with this phone is really good, and I have no complaints aside from a couple wishes like a bigger battery, faster charging speeds, and of course better thermal performance for gaming and video editing and things like that. On a side note though, when I'm using Samsung DeX, I don't really notice a difference in terms of thermals when I'm doing similar things on the phone itself versus on an external monitor, so that's pretty good. And then we have the cameras. So I already mentioned these cameras, but to me these cameras produce flagship level results. The thing is, I personally don't like the way Samsung's camera software colors images, so I prefer to use the manual modes that this phone has to offer. Auto mode almost always misses with the skin tones, especially on darker skin tones, and it makes everything look super saturated or super washed out, rarely ever in between. As far as quality goes, these cameras are great, and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 delivers pretty good dynamic range and detail. Overall, these are really good cameras, but if you want the best of the best, then I suggest you use manual mode for video or for photography, or use Expert RAW to go deeper into your photography settings. And then you have durability. So durability is something that only time will tell. A lot of people ask, what's durability like on these foldable phones? If you look at the history, a lot of foldable phones have had issues. Previous Z Fold models have had issues with durability, but at the end of the day, only time will tell, and different use cases will have different experiences. There's so many different factors that can contribute to the durability of these kind of devices, like your environment, how hot it is, how cold it is, things like that. It shouldn't make too big of a difference, but it can definitely cause some discrepancies. With all that being said though, there are a few things that I can say that are encouraging with the Z Fold 5's durability. So the Fold 5 uses a different hinge design compared to the previous Z Folds, which you can tell visually by how it closes flat. The fact that it closes flat means that excess dust and debris stay out of the screen, and that could increase the lifetime of your screen protector and your screen on the inside. The hinge is also lined with some sort of support rails for better overall stability and just rigidness. The inner display also has been reinforced with a new dispersion layer, and this is supposedly supposed to make it stronger and last a longer time. So we have a new hinge and we have a reinforced screen. So these two things should definitely help with the longevity of these foldable phones, but only time will tell. With the time that has passed already, we've seen less reports of spontaneously broken screens and different issues with the screens since the launch of this Fold 5. This is big news because compared to previous generations, usually by now we'll have like all the Reddit pages and online and people just going crazy about their, Z Folds just breaking, or black lines showing up on the screen, or dead pixels, screen protectors lifting and all that stuff. So as of right now, this launch seems to be better than previous launches. However, I don't know all the statistics. I don't know how many units were sold compared to previous models. So maybe it's a smaller amount of things being sold and thus you have smaller amount of issues. I'm not sure. But it seems like with these changes in design, the durability is improved. And for some extra comfort, when it comes to durability, the Z Fold 5 handles Zach's durability test pretty easy. You can go check out his video on the channel, J-Rig Everything. Despite all this though, I still recommend getting extra warranty coverage for any device with foldable glass, because just like Zach says, glass is glass and glass breaks. So next is customization. Customization has always been amazing on Samsung phones, and the Z Fold 5 continues in that trend. So I'm going to mention different aspects of the customization on this phone that stand out to me. The first thing is the home screen customization. Customizing the home screen on the Fold 5 is cool because you can select multiple apps and folders to move at the same time. This saves you a lot of time when you're moving a lot of apps or you're constantly changing your layout if you're somebody like me. The Samsung stock widgets are also cool because you can set the opacity to 0, giving this cool transparent aesthetic. Changing your icons and customizing your theme is also here on Samsung devices. Believe it or not, some Android phones don't allow you to customize your phone in these ways, so it's worth mentioning in my opinion. And then there's the two screens. Having two different size screens means that you use them differently. That's why Samsung allows you to create separate home screen setups for each screen. That means widgets, apps, wallpapers. You can have them look completely different. But if you're somebody who would rather have them look exactly the same with the same layouts, then you can enable that as well. Lock screen customization is here too. They basically kind of copied Apple's lock screen customization, but there's more features here. One important thing worth pointing out is the ability to change your lock screen shortcuts. Basically, you can launch any app from your lock screen, or you can set certain functions like do not disturb or airplane mode straight from your lock screen at the bottom. So the customization is cool. Not all phones can do this. The always on display also has a decent amount of options, but you can take it further with an app called Goodlock, which I'll introduce to you right now. So on the Galaxy store, Samsung has this app called Goodlock, which allows you to customize your device to the next level. Almost every UI element or thing you see on the screen in terms of like the phone itself and not third-party apps can be customized in some way through Goodlock. You can take the home screen customization further with a larger grid, or change the way that folders work. You can completely transform your quick toggles / notification menu. You can change the way that switching apps looks and works. You can enable certain cool features like making sure that floating windows don't minimize when you go home, or making it so every open app, even in floating windows, always has focus, preventing those apps from timing out or pausing. This feature is super useful in games like Teamfight Tactics that like to freeze when you're not interacting with it or you're interacting with another app while multitasking. And the customization is so deep with Goodlock that you can even customize your settings app and the layout of it. So you can go crazy with customization on Samsung phones, and more specifically with the Z Fold 5. I could spend probably an hour or more just talking about all the customization potential of this phone. So instead of doing that, I'll leave you with this. The Z Fold 5 is the most customizable foldable phone on the planet right now. Okay, so now with all that being said in this video, the Galaxy Z Fold 5 is a near perfect smartphone with many great features. Aside from the narrow outer screen and not too much changing from the previous generations, it's still an amazing device in my opinion, and it should not be overlooked. If you can get this phone at a decent price, or you just have the money to spend on it, then I recommend it over other foldable phones and options. But yeah, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Leave a like to let me know you enjoyed it. And we out for now. Peace.